Hello YouTubes, this is your bog standard 40 foot shipping container in HO scale. They retail for about $25 new in a hobby store, or you can rummage about at your trade show and try and get them cheap. But I've got a 3D printer, this is a plastic box, how hard can it be? Now, I already have enough of these to fill the well cars that I've got, but who's to say I won't get more well cars and then I'll need more. And I was watching Sparky's recent update video and he had an absolute pile of these literally piled up at some sort of shipping container depot. They look really great, which is ideal because if I print these and the quality isn't perfect, if they're away in a corner of the layout somewhere stacked up, you won't really care about the detail. As long as they're painted nice, they've maybe got some decals on them, they'll be perfect. So, where do we start? Presuming you already have a 3D printer and you know how to use it, we're going to need a 3D print file. So, I like to use Thingiverse. It's free, although you do have the option to donate some money to the creators. So, I go into the search bar at the top, up here, just type in 40 foot container, because that's what I'm looking for. Hit enter. All sorts of choices. There's even a dented one over here which looks kind of cool. I just want to go for a bog standard square, rectangle, square ends. There's a taller one down here, but I think I want this one. There's these two here which you've got a choice of different sizes. Oh, look at that, there's a well car. No, don't get distracted. Right, let's click on this one. Usually get an advert popping up, but not today. That looks exactly what we want. So I will be downloading this. To be honest, I've already downloaded it, but it's important to have a look at the summary here and the instructions. For example, here it says, print this upside down with pins sticking upwards. That will make sense once I open it up in my software program. So all you would have to do is you click download all files. You do get this advert. You have to let this finish. You see this here? You have to wait for that to finish before it'll appear. If you close this box, you won't get the file. So I noticed that it finished downloading. Can close that. And up here where it says in your download file, you've got it listed. It usually comes as a zip file. I generally cut that and paste it into a zip file folder on my PC, so I've always got it. And then it's just a case of unzipping it, and then you will have the file ready to put into your preferred slicer program. I use, for this type of printer, I'm going to be using Ultimaker Cura. This is one that's recommended for my specific printer. So we need to find the file I just downloaded. Let me just move this out so you can see what we've got here. This box here represents my print bed at the bottom and how big it is. So mine is 25 centimeters by 25 at the base, and I think it's about 35 high. So we can print a decent size subject. Right, let's find this file, and it should plonk it on the base. I've already downloaded and unzipped it. It's a recent file called container40foot.stl. There it is. In lovely HO format, I believe. So let's have a closer look at what we're going to be doing. As you can see, we have ribs up the side along the top. We've got little pin locating holes at the top. We've got kind of a fake door at one end. Let's see what it's like at the other end. Just flat at the other end. So that's absolutely fine. Now, what I was talking about earlier when I said read the instructions, this one says print upside down. You notice how it's flat along the top? But if I show you the underside, it's all red. Red means it's not supported, and the reason is these little pins right here. And these are the locating pins. So if you were to stack those little pins there and there, they would actually go in these holes. However, the reason you want to do it upside down is so that you don't have to have the supports on the underside. So how do we do that? All we have to do, zoom out a little bit so we can see what we're doing. We have tools over here on the left hand side. Okay, first of all we have to click on the subject like that. You see how we've got an XYZ axis, blue, red, green. Now you use these tags to enlarge it and shrink it down, change sizes. However, you also use it to rotate. Over on the left hand side you've got a rotate tool, okay? And all we have to do is grab one of these and spin it 180 degrees. Okay, so let's go with the red one because that's going to rotate it around that way. And you see the little number in black. We just keep spinning that till it gets to 180. Like so. And we are set. Now obviously we still have the red here because that's the ribs, the indents of the ribs, but that should be okay. Everything there in blue is going to be on the print bed, so it should be easy enough to print without big spaghetti messes. So we're pretty much ready to go. I've only just installed this software on my new PC. I've not changed any of the settings. All the suggested parameters are up here, drop down. Again, if you know about 3D printers, you know what you're doing here, but I'm going to just try this, but just straight out the box and see what happens, okay? So we go down here to say slice. It's going to prepare it for printing. Click that. And now we've got the option to save to disk. Normally, if you've got a USB thumbnail drive, you'll have the option to save it to that. I'm just going to save it to disk for now. And let's put it in our train folder under 3D prints. Let's make a new folder just so we know where to find everything. And we'll just call this sliced. Everything in the sliced folder is ready to go. Okay. So it's called AK container 40 foot, save that. And we're good to grab that file, put it in a thumbnail and take it over to our printer. I now have my file on my thumbnail drive. Now this does have a little micro SD card which goes into the thumbnail. It's a pain in the neck, but it's just the way my system works. So I have to load it onto that and then take this out, put that into my printer. So let's head round to my printer. It's in the next room for now because my old PC can't handle it. Right, I'll see you over there. As you can probably tell by the dust, I've not used my printer in a while, so it's worth giving it a quick clean with some isopropyl alcohol. And do this before you switch it on. Heat and isopropyl alcohol is not a good combination, because your bed does get quite hot. Look at that filth, my goodness. Okay, right, now we can switch it on, heat up our printing nozzle, choose a colour. I think I will go for white, because I've got millions of it. Right, let's power it up. This sometimes makes a bit of a noise when I first switch it on, and then I end up switching it off and then back on. You'll see what I mean. Actually no, the noise comes later when I try and print something. Right, let's load up some filament and get our little micro SD card in. This just hangs over the top on this particular one and it feeds straight into my print head. Some of them have to go through some weird conduit, but this one's okay. Before I do that, however, I do actually have to heat up my nozzle. So I have to go into menu, move it down to prepare and load filament, and this will heat up my nozzle and spit out whatever's in it already. This is where it could get noisy. Nozzle too cold. Auto set temperature to continue. Yes. Nozzle heating. My nozzle should be nice and toasty by now. Let's stick that in there and it should start oozing out the bottom. So I'll use my tweezers just to grab some yak. Usually a bit of brown stuff down there where it's overheated. And as long as that's coming through at a steady rate, we should be good to go. Yep, looks good to me. Right. Still coming, still coming. Yes, we're all good. So I can stop loading. That stops eventually, and we'll be good to start printing. Still coming. Right. So I have my micro SD card in there already. Back to the main menu. Print from SD card. AK container, 40-foot G code, start print. Yes. And now we wait. 4 hours apparently. Don't worry, I'll speed things up for you. So here we have it, one 40-foot shipping container. The only thing is, I'm not sure if it's 40 feet because it's much smaller than that one, which was the one that I bought at a train show. So either that's not 40 feet or this is way bigger than 40 feet. I've got a feeling that this is the 40 feet because that's kind of similar to a 40-foot boxcar. Anyway, the detail looks okay. Remember, this is going to be away in a corner somewhere with different coloured containers stacked on top and below beside each other. So I don't really have to bother about the sides for decals either. But I'm very curious with the size. It is the same size as that one, however. Although it's still not quite as tall, but that's okay. I want to do a quick measurement if you don't mind. So technically, whatever I measure this, if I multiply it by 87, we should get to 40 feet, right? So that is 5.5 inches. Calculator, hold on. 5.5 times 87 is 478.5 inches divided by 12 equals 39.8 feet. Well, there you go. It's a fairly accurate 40-foot container. However, I'm not overly happy with the mess that it makes because we have to print it upside down. So I have downloaded another version of this that doesn't have the pins, because it was the pins that was the problem that was making us flip it over. So I will print another one. Not just now, you can see that at another time. But let's see what it looks like on a rail car, or a well car, going round the track. I thought my new container looked a wee bit lonely, so I gave it some friends. He's at the very back. And I even added a custom ScotRail's logo. Don't worry, it's just made out of plain paper and a bubble jet printer. But you get the idea. Might have to do that with all of them. So it's just the right size to cover the two 20-foot containers. So it doesn't look too bad sitting there. And that's without any paint. I'm happy with that. However, I do think I want to print out the other one without the pins. It might be a much tidier print, but I'll do that in a different colour, and I'll let you see that in a future video. For now, I'm just going to see how long this lasts, and I'm also going to work on a better transfer. I might look into the water transfers that you can get for inkjets. I don't know how well they work, but we'll give it a shot. Looks fine from this distance. See you all soon. Bye for now.